You have never seen a country buy oil with rupees or pay off their debt in yuan. Even if America is not involved, every country trades with US dollars. Have you ever wondered why? From oil sales in the Middle East to debt repayments in Africa, the dollar dominates. But this wasn't always the case. The dollar became king of currency through war, gold and oil deals. And now that system is under threat. What if all of it comes crashing down? It started in 1944, when the world was still burning in World War II. 44 countries gathered in a small town called Bretton Woods in Hampshire, and the goal was to prevent future wars and rebuild global economy. And the US had most of world's gold at this time. Its economy was booming, and Europe lay in ruins after the Second World War. And that's how the deal was struck. All currencies would be pegged to the US dollars. The dollar would be backed by gold at 35 US dollars per ounce. This created trust with dollars. If you had dollars, you could redeem them for gold. It wasn't just any paper, it was as good as gold. And for decades, this system powered global trade. And then came the collapse. By the 60s, America started printing way too many US dollars to fund the Vietnam War and massive domestic spending. Foreign countries started redeeming their dollars for gold, draining US reserves. And in 1971, President Richard Nixon made a shocking move.
I have directed Secretary Connally to suspend temporarily the convertibility of the dollar into gold or other reserve assets.
And just like that, the gold standard was dead. The dollar just became paper. But instead of crashing, it became even stronger. But how? In the 70s, the world faced major oil crisis. Prices spiked and the nations panicked. And in this time, US made a secret deal with Saudi Arabia, the world's biggest oil exporter. Saudi Arabia would sell oil only in US dollars. And in return, America would provide military protection to buy oil regularly. And other nations followed. This was the birth of Petrodollar system. Now, for example, if Germany wanted to buy oil, it has to first buy US dollars and then pay Saudi Arabia. This created constant demand for US dollars. Countries started stockpiling dollars. Central banks kept US treasury bonds as reserves. The dollar became world's reserve currency. With great power came great leverage. The US realized that controlling the dollar means controlling the world. Sanctions. Countries like Iran, Venezuela and Russia were blocked from using dollars. SWIFT. The global messaging system for banks dominated by the US and the EU. Foreign reserves. 60% of the global reserves are still in US dollars. Now let's say if a country falls out of line, the US can freeze assets, block transactions, and even cut off access to SWIFT. This made the dollar not just a currency, but a weapon of war. Countries like Russia, China, Brazil and Iran are now actively de-dollarizing. They are trading in local currencies, creating parallel system to SWIFT like Russia's SPFS and China's CIPS. And now there are even talks of launching BRICS currency. Central banks are buying gold again. China is pushing for yuan-based oil trades. Some nations are even exploring bitcoins and CBDCs as alternatives. And the goal here is to escape the dollar's trap. But there is a big hurdle to do this. The US now has 35 trillion in debt. It prints trillions to fund deficits. Its political system is gridlocked and unstable. If trust in the US dollars collapses, other countries will stop accepting it. This means the entire global system could unravel. Oil prices could skyrocket, trade could freeze, US inflation could spiral, America could lose its global dominance. But for now, there are no real alternatives. The dollar will survive, not because it's perfect, but because other systems are even worse. The US dollar became global currency through gold, oil and power. But now that power is being challenged. What replaces next? Gold, crypto, or a BRICS currency? No one knows. Let me know in the comments, what do you think will be the next global currency? And also like, share and subscribe for more stories about money, law and power. This is Ledger and Lore. See you in the next one.